Welcome. At MYL Landis, we are thrilled to be here with you for this workshop, presented in conjunction with Stout Fabrics. Today, we are going to explore something that can truly elevate your window treatment projects, trim. We'll share how trim can transform a drapery from ordinary to extraordinary. And just as importantly, we will walk you through how we apply these trims so that you can sell confidently to your clients. You'll leave today with practical knowledge you can put to use immediately. Let's start with the fundamental question: why add trim? Trim takes a basic drapery panel from simple to stunning. The fabrics you're working with are already beautiful. That's a given. By adding trim and other details, you enhance the aesthetics, add style, texture, and create opportunities to coordinate with the room's decor in ways that feel intentional and custom. Here's something we can't overlook. Trims truly highlight that custom look your clients are paying for. They're one of the most effective ways to differentiate your work from what anyone could order online. From a business perspective, trim is also a great way to increase revenue. It's an upsell that adds real value. Your clients see it, they appreciate it, and they're willing to invest in it. Now let's talk about what's trending with trim right now. The lead edge of the drapery panel has always been center stage. That's where the eye naturally goes. But today, we are seeing renewed attention to the bottom of the drapery panel. Designers are getting creative with how they finish the hemline. Tassels are making a comeback in a big way. We're also seeing ruffles and pleated trims on the rise, bringing movement and dimension to the treatment. Throughout this workshop, I have many samples to show you. These details are what transform a classic treatment into something truly special. Let's be honest. Designing isn't always glamorous. We've all had those moments of staring at samples, feeling overwhelmed by choices, or struggling to find exactly what we need. But here's the good news. Trims can change that. They're the detail that turns everyday panels into something to say wow about. As trends shift, and they always do, it can be difficult to find exactly what you need at any given moment. That's why I've chosen to showcase versatile trims today. These are trims that work beautifully in today's design, but can also adapt as trends evolve. You're not locked into something that will feel dated in a couple of years. The trims we focus on today are incredibly flexible. They can stand alone for a clean, tailored finish, or they can be combined to create a truly stunning, one-of-a-kind design. This versatility is what makes them such a smart choice for your business. So here's what we're going to cover in today's workshop. We'll go over application methods. This is the practical, hands-on information that will help you understand how these trims are actually applied, what's involved, and how to communicate that to your clients. We'll address common challenges and solutions, because let's face it, things don't always go perfectly. I will share some real issues we encounter and how we solve them. And we'll look at design inspiration with some creative ways to use trim that you can adapt to your own projects. Let's get started.
Don't do as much work as we do. So we do use this in the workroom, but this isn't my go-to method. Another method that we use is transfer tape. Transfer tape is new to the scene here. Donna Scoopus reached out to me and said, I have this new product called transfer tape. Just have you guys seen it?
Yeah, and I asked them, like, what's the difference between that and the jewel?
So this is an iron-on tape. Okay, so it's a no-sew method, meaning it's permanent. You don't have to use a sewing machine or hand sewing with this. It's pretty sticky, which tells you in the directions that it's a pretty sticky tape. but I actually like it. It's pretty flexible. You know, it's great to use, like, if even with not trim, you can see how very sticky it is.
And that's still an iron-on, you said?
This is an iron-on, so you don't have to use sewing at all. So
And it's sticky with as well as the
Yes, sir.
iron-on.
I would iron this onto the trim and then peel the paper off and then iron it again to the fabric. It's a great trim. I like it. It's very flexible, adorable. So this is another thing that I have in my pocket that I can use, another adhesive. Then we have Jules tape, which is also a permanent. You might be familiar with this. I use the skinny one here for my thin trims.
So what is the difference between transfer and jewel?
Transfer tape is iron-on, and Jules tape is not.
Stick.
So it's a double-sided tape. You
Double
don't
sided
have to
stick.
use- Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, this is sticky too. Yes, it's not as sticky as that.
Double sticky.
Yes, that's really sticky.
You don't
in the
need
sense
the
that-
heat for the state.
Well, I was seeing this as being sticky on the one side, and
Yeah,
then I
this
didn't
is
realize
sticky.
that there was non-sticky on the other.
Yeah.
So this is sticky on both sides.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
got
this
it.
is sticky on both sides, so you would apply it the same way. You just don't need an iron.
Got it.
This one actually is nice because it's removable. So if I'm doing placement and I get a little wavy, I can lift this far enough, reapply it, right? And it becomes stronger over time. So the longer that it's on the product, it gets stronger.
So, wait, sorry.
Sure.
The transfer tape, it's sticky on one side, it's iron on the other side?
It's just sticky in general. So you still have to do the same method. It's a sticky tape adhesive. It's a sticky adhesive that is adhered to a piece of paper. You put it on the trim, you press and steam it, then you peel off. So it's a 2-steam process. You have to steam it twice. Whereas this one, there's no steam. You just apply it to the trim, peel the paper off, and stick it to the drapery or shade,
So
whichever.
what advantage of using, because some of the girls were, actually it was Rose Garner, she was saying, transfer tape's very sticky and it's hard to move after you place it. Whereas jewel tape, it's easier to unstick and reapply.
Yes, so she's exactly right. So she has used it just like I have. And with transfer tape, once you press it a second time, you're not moving it off of there. You can use a little bit of heat and try, but you have that residue there. So your pattern placement has to be really spot on. What I find that I would use transfer tape for is a side hem or a bottom hem where somebody doesn't want any stitch lines because it's nice and flexible and pliable, whereas some of the adhesives are not. So this is an iron-on adhesive that we use in the workroom as well. We tend to use this one to close the tie back up or something like that. Where you want a nice clean finish. This is Dew Fix, which is another adhesive. You need a continuous steam on it with this one. We don't use it to apply trims unless a customer asks us to. Okay.
Why is
I have to trust that my people have a continuous press and, have it adhered in every spot. I couldn't have a bubble somewhere where it could become free. So anything we do, we need to know that it's permanent, it's left to work when it's staying, and it's not coming off.
So when you use your tape, and I apologize for interrupting, when you use your tapes, you never then sew over top of it.
One, you don't have to apologize because I know this is WCAA. So I knew there would be plenty of interruptions. And even if I lost my spot, you would bear with me. So, but ask your question again on this.
So when you're applying your tapes and your trims, you don't re-sew over top.
We'll
Once you
get to that next.
Okay.
Yeah. So with this one, you don't have to. This is permanent. This is
Yeah,
once you
I
iron
had
it on.
problems where I had to take it off and all of those things.
Exactly. So
And I didn't know if there's a way to get that residue off.
uh,
We actually have found a method where we steam and put paper down, and the paper actually lifts some of the good.
Yeah, there's-
good off.
right. Some is a good word.
Yeah, not all.
So if you want
Either
to take
mineral
that.
spirits or
No, it doesn't work.
denatured alcohol.
So
Right.
mineral spirits, I had Steve buy mineral spirits for something, and then I realized it's flammable. And when purchasing ordered it for me, it was in this big container, but I just needed it. So then I had to worry about the flammability. That's too much for me. So I don't, we have this, and I inherited this when I started at Maryland's, and I tend to like cut my own strips instead of buying the multiple different sizes. I just cut it to the size that I need. So if I need a wide band, I add that. If I need a thinner one, I just cut it to the size I need. So my favorite, our next is this tape. This is just a basic old double-sided tape. We buy it in bulk, so I'm not sure where purchasing buys it from, but it's just a basic double-sided tape. So all of our trims go down with this. The plus on this is I can remove it if I want. There's no residue left over because it pulls off in one piece.
How permanent is it?
It's not permanent. So it is not permanent at all. So it requires straight stitching with it. So you need to either hand sew or straight stitch.
So you can sew through it. That'll come here.
No, you would gum your needle. So we have to strategically place everything. So there's a thought process that goes into everything that we do to make sure that we're not gumming up our needles.
But that's great if you have a recall.
Right. So if I had a trim that was too wide, that wasn't very wide, I should say, if I had a trim that was narrow, I'd use Jules tape as a double-sided because she comes in multiple sizes that you can get the Jules tape. But this is our go-to. We buy it in bulk and we use this all the time. And then we follow up with a straight stitch machine. So we'll see here. That was my go-to method is double-sided tape with machine stitching. So all the samples that you will see here today that I'm going to show are double-sided tape with straight stitching. I do have one sample that I used, that I made to show you that you can iron on and see what the difference is there. And I'll show you that one. And then everything else is the machine. Oh, don't forget hand sewing. You can do hand sewing. Okay. And I did make a little sample of all of them. You can guess if you want. Which is which. Hand sewing is there. Hand sewing is beautiful, but it's time consuming and costly. And if you're a workroom, you have to build that into your time. You're really losing money if you're not, charging for hand sewing. But all of these methods, I will tell you, this is fringe adhesive, so you can feel what that is like. This one was the transfer tape, and this one is, you think I would have labeled them when I ran into it. Okay, this one was Do Fix. I left a little thing here, so that was Do Fix, and then transfer tape. This one was, this one's double-sided tape with machine stitching, and then that one is hand sewn.
Do you pre-shrink, like, do you stain out all your trims before you put them down just to make sure if anything doesn't shrink?
Right, yes, we do, because they come on a cardboard, which has folds in it.
No way.
So we have to.
No way.
Right, we have to. So, but we lightly press. We don't press anything dramatically, and that's probably why we don't use a lot of steam, because trims that require ironing so much. And I do have a slide on that. So, with that said, did I skip one? So, I think I'm missing a slide. Oh, here we go. Oh. Yeah. Okay, so at this point, we are going to look at some of the samples and discuss some of the design methods that I chose and how we applied them, as well as some of the pitfalls that I came across, right? Because I don't know how many of you have ever made something for designers, right? Or maybe you are a designer and you made something and it just didn't come from the workroom how you expected it to look, right? In your mind, it was just going to hang perfectly like a soldier, and it doesn't, right? Maybe it's starting to droop or something like that. Maybe the hem is hanging out too wide. So even I, as designing here, said, okay, this is going to need an aluminum stitch, or this is going to need that to make it hang beautifully the way that I would like it to. So let's get started. One of the things, as I mentioned earlier, that the lead edge is always center stage, right? So I'm going to start with the lead edge and then go through some of the designs that we are going to see coming up to give you design inspiration, as well as how we use these trims. Okay, so this is a pom-pom trim, and I just thought this was so adorable. You can turn it this way. It could be the bottom of a shade or a crib skirt, maybe. Right, so it's beautiful. The challenge that I've had with this is getting close enough to the pom-pom. I tried my bent up foot. I tried my piping foot. I tried my skinny foot. Oh my goodness. So it is applied with a straight stitch machine and the double-sided tape. So when I was in high school, I went for fashion design and I had to make 36 beavers because our mascot was a beaver. And so if any of you know, if you sew anything with pile, you should take a pin and go across your seam and pull the threads out of the pile. So somebody asked me, and that's just what you have to do, right? So 36 of them with little teeth sticking out. It was fun.
So do you say, so like, how did you do that?
So I just used my zipper foot. Zipper foot. I used a zipper foot, and as I sewed, I just pushed it over to the side to get as close as I could. And then after, if I caught anything with the pom-pom, I just took my little needle and pulled it out. Just brush it along, and they'll come loose from the stitching. Yeah, so pretty easy. So I'll send that around if people want to look. You can see what the back of our draperies look like as well. All of our draperies, especially if it's the lead edge, we press in the side hem first, and then get a nice straight edge to apply our trim. Okay, send that in. So next we have here tassel trim. I love this. This is one of my favorite tassel trim.
You just had a tassel for the
Did you?
It's fun to have it back.
I'm glad they're back. So
That's so much.
I chose this fabric because it's a lightweight, it's a double wide sheer. And you can see this is kind of a heavier tassel, and I have another sample over here with the same fabric. I chose this one because one side is stitched. So I did both so that you can see one side is stitched and one side is glued, so that you can see the difference between both and how we color match our threads so that you can, you don't really see the stitching. You try to hide it as best as possible. But this is also a design detail that we don't think about when choosing a trim, right? We want them to mirror image each other. But with trim, if you want it on the lead edge, on one side, you're going to have it going one direction, and then on the other, you're going to flip it the other way. So this has 3 colors of tassel. So on one way, you're going to see the white tassels will be at the top, but then your next tassels don't work, right? They're not the same. So nobody would know that unless I told you, right? Nobody would point that out. Right. So that's what sewers always do. They point out their sew.
Do you see it? Do you see it?
When you sew, do you sew before you fold or after you fold?
We always press our side hem in first, and then we apply. Yes. And you'll see that.
And then you hem? Or do you hem it and then apply it?
Actually, we press our top crease in so that because you know that one person doesn't do everything. The person laying out the trim is not the person laying out the drapery. So we press our tops in for them, right? And we give ourselves an inch or so above. We press where we want the top to be so that they have room, right? And so there's about 2 inches that go down in here. As long as we were given enough trim. Now, Stout always gives us enough trim. That is one of the best things. I have other people who, try to cut it really close because it's expensive, right? Oh, geez, don't ask. So, and then the bottom, same thing, will go up the back. Okay, so that you cover
But
that up.
I guess my question is,
Sure.
you've ironed it and then you apply the tape or pants or sew it before you fold it and line stitch it.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, so we press the side hem in, we press the top where our pupil, because trim is always top first, unless you have trim going across the bottom, then it's hems first. So, and notice I only did Stout program pleat style, so this is a nice pom-pom tack top that is really popular MYL Drapery. So
What would-
let me know if you can tell me which side is sewn and which side is glued.
What pleat style are you seeing the most of? Are you still
Tack
seeing?
top.
Yeah.
Yeah, pack top is definitely. We have one client. He does a ton of inverted, which you don't see too much, but I think invert's really good.
I love them.
Yeah. So this I love. This is a stout trim. Look at that little tassel. So you don't always have to have big tassels, right?
The smaller tassels are growing in popularity. The larger have not quite come
I
back
love
quite
this.
so much, but the smaller have.
That's
very
so
much so.
great.
Yeah. So if you green's popular.
But that's two trims, right?
This is two trims.
Yeah.
So
And that was the
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, right.
Oh, it's not.
So
Oh,
that's like.
So think of all the upcharges there, and then
Oh,
you
the
know,
yardage.
your $125 panel just went up. Your fabric sales just went up. Your trim.
at the bottom, I see that you're reading your tassel. Do you cut that off or?
We leave that to the designer on site
Okay.
to decide if they want to cut it off or not, because you can simply just
Right.
take that off. Right. So this we have to be very accurate, because you can see this is piping attached. So you see this is attached right to the piping.
Oh,
This is
oh,
one
I
of
didn't
the,
see them.
the new trims. I love it.
The trim includes the piping.
Yeah, the pipe, the tassel is attached right to the piping.
Now, would you add your tassel to the tape before you do any applying to the panel?
So I can tell you exactly how we did this.
Okay.
Okay, because it's inset. Originally, we'll see how it's inset. Originally, I wanted this to be the bottom, because I was asked to focus on the bottom, and give you some ideas, since the bottom is going to be important this year, right? So originally, but I like it inset like this. So if it was the bottom, even on a drapery panel, I like it to be inset, so the tassels aren't hanging free. You really see the tassel much better. But can't you see that as the reveal on the bottom of the shades?
Absolutely.
Just, stunning. So I like that. I probably couldn't do the top one, because then that goes, if it's the bottom of the shade, I would just do one, not both.
Mhm.
But I thought this was a beautiful way to do, show this beautiful trim. So basically, we would, and I have a sample. Okay, I use this tape to show you, because this is what I love about the STAT program. Look, I can color match, just like my clothing, if I want to be monochromatic. Right? Don't you love Chico's? You go in and the top matches the pants and the sweater, and everything just goes together. Well, you can tell how I would like to design. I would do that. So I love how this is a tape, right? And this is a piping. So this is exactly how we would apply it. I would put my tape close enough that I'm not sewing in the glue, and close enough that when I lay it next to the piping, I'm getting pretty close to the edge there. And that's just a nice detail. So I'll send that around, and I'll send this around.
And then you'll add the tassel.
So, yes, well, the tassel's already attached to this trim.
Oh, to the piping,
Yeah, this piping doesn't have tassels on it.
but the other one, that
This one.
does.
I'll
Has
have to,
piping
I
and
send that one? I think it's in here. It might be another book. But this one,
the piping already
piping
has the tassel.
attached.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's in another book.
And how did you determine, just doing that sample, like how much white you wanted on this side? for your
So,
clothes?
I originally wanted it to be the bottom,
Oh, right.
and I
that's
don't
right.
like my tassels to go below.
Oh, that's right.
Right, I like them to
Oh, right.
background, right? Do you ever make a shade and the tassel is hanging, but now you have this light gap at the bottom of your shade, or the tassels are sitting on the sill? So I think this is a better method of doing this, so you don't have that problem, right? It's a better way to design. So that's how this started out, and then I said, well, wait, could you imagine this, trying to go back and forth and be a drapery panel? No. So I quickly switched it, and it's 118-inch wide fabric, so I could do that. Go either way, railroad or not railroad. So that was the other plus.
Here it is
Oh,
here.
thank you.
Oh,
Yes, isn't this a
okay.
great?
That's awesome.
Look at all the options.
Oh, no. The dotted one, I just used that recently, and again, that was where it wasn't gonna be the same on each of the match.
Yes, yeah. That's a flat one. No,
Should have been, but it wasn't. I don't know.
It
why.
wasn't? Oh, we'll have to look
There
at
was
that
some
one.
issue.
So if you want to, I'll put this here in case you want to look at that. Yeah, but see, you run into those issues, right? Okay, this one is, oh gosh, this was one of my favorites. I love to do, let me bring that sample because I'll need that. Okay. This one, don't you love this fabric? And look at how nice those blend well together.
Mhm.
You know, just stunning, right? Brush fringe, to me, is still popular on the edge. It's so plush. And then this is a piping, which is in that book, the according, right here. And just beautiful for the lead edge. And for those who want to know how I would do that, I made up a little sample to show you how. Yeah, so this is the same method, basically the same as the brush fringe. So on the back here, how many of you would, if you're going to attach brush fringe, would cut a piece of fabric, right? Sandwich the brush fringe in between and then stitch. Would you do it that way?
You mean if it was on
It
just
depends
the
on
trim
how
on the leading
it
edge?
finishes on the brush.
Yeah. So
So if there's a
put
tape
it-
there that's not really pretty, it's sandwich it.
Yeah, so this one is sandwiched in, but the method of sandwiching it in and sewing it, would you cut 2 pieces to sandwich it, or you sew it down first? And then where do you get your other, how do you cover that?
Then I
to get-
sandwich it.
So you have a separate piece that you put on top.
Oh, you're talking about on a draper? Yes, I learned that with Susan Woodcock.
Okay, so we do it this way. We sandwich it in this way. So I have adhesive on this side of the trim and on that side. So I place one down and the other. There's no seaming. The reason we do it this way is because I keep the integrity of the fabric grain in place and I don't have shifting of the fabrics. And then my people can just stitch right down. And it makes it nice and clean. And then we would go and apply the more picture. So it just, to me, you know, like when you're making a pillow or a cushion, you have to use a walking foot machine to make them go evenly through. I think this is a better method. And since we've been doing this way, we don't have a lot of throwing or.
Probably seems like you're putting the trim like so far in on the drapery panel. Right?
Yes.
It's like you're like that.
Mhm. Exactly. So let me go to my next slide here. All right, so while we're talking, these are common pitfalls and solutions that we are talking about, right? So one of the things I just mentioned is sew in and take up. By doing this method, I don't have a lot of sewing and take up on the fabric. When fabric gets sewn in and you have take up, you can have shifting. Okay. And so another thing that I've seen on panels like this, where you have a lot of trim and you have a lot of detail, if the installer or an experienced person with a steam iron comes in and they grab the drapery like this and they start steaming away, right? You're ruining the integrity of the grain of the fabric. And then when you drop it down, you're going to see this angling, right? I've even seen on some synthetics the actual shape of the steam iron in the fabric. So that's something that you want to think about. Make sure when you have a nice, you know, heavy tape like this that's, and you put a lot of detail in the front here, because you'll feel it as you go around, when you get to that, you know, somebody, if they're not dressing it properly, can take a beautiful fabric. Look how well this fabric drapes. That's a common pitfall.
Which fabric is this? Is that the
I think that might be, I don't know. I just went through these, I know they were, these 2 books, I used a lot of Ticonderoga
Okay.
and Vantage.
And
Nevada.
Nevada.
And
Nevada.
Nevada, yep.
I
and
definitely
Nevada.
used Nevada. That might be the Nevada.
See that one? That's this camera.
Yeah, it wasn't this,
I think it's
here, it wasn't this top one, but you can look at these books as well.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, this is another favorite.
That's the new one. New word.
I have some extra
So
sets.
I simply love this fabric. It comes in a couple color
That's
bands.
beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, sometimes we like never see a big piece because they're just like, it's just in the book, you know?
Right. So on this one, this is double-sided tape down each side. We never put it just one single in the middle. By just putting tape in the middle, one, if you go to press it, you'll see the tape mark. Two, you'll have take up on either side when you go to sew it down. So you should use.
So repeat what you just said, sorry.
But if you put just adhesive down the middle, you'll see it when you press, right? So if you put it on both sides, not in your stitch line, and you can see, I mean, when this goes around, I bet you don't even notice the stitch line.
And you say when you do it on both sides, you don't have take up.
Exactly.
Okay.
If you put it down the middle, you're gonna have take up on both sides. There's
I
nothing
just
worse than
did that
walking
trend.
through workroom and seeing somebody with tape down the center. I definitely don't allow that. So, okay, and how we would do this one is we would attach this tassel, because it has a gimp, to the tape, and then just stitch down, so we wouldn't sew in the seams on it. Which, again, we should reduce the amount of time.
first and then, okay.
Yeah, so this.
Attach it to the tip.
Yeah.
Well, you could attach it to the fabric because we've already pressed on side,
Okay.
and then just lay this right on top.
I like that little tip because I was
Yes.
put it down the middle.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna do that again.
It's funny, I've done both methods. And I don't, sometimes I'm like getting cheap with my, oh, I've got to get a double. And it's like all this extra expense for the tape. So I'm thinking, oh, I'll be cheap and do it right down the middle. So,
Right, a lot of people think that way, but cheap
yeah,
calls its remakes,
got it.
right? Okay, this is a beautiful embroidery.
Oh,
This is
that's
pretty,
wow.
yeah.
Pretty.
And,
How different is that color again?
yeah, so
Yeah.
one of my team members, she liked the light side and I like the dark.
I like the dark too.
She said, Jen, I found a fabric because I said, I'm just going to call Bart and get a piece from him. She goes, oh, but Stout has on their go back rack, they have this fabric. So maybe you want to just use that. And I didn't want to hurt her feelings. I felt she didn't know how to design. So I just said, oh, well, thank you. I won't tell you which person it is because you might talk to them on the phone. So I said, okay, thank you. And I called Bart and I asked for the dark navy. And I thought that looked good. And then when it came in, I was like, yeah, but at least, the fabric looked nice. So I decided to do both sides so that you can see how a wrap banding is. Right. So for a wrap banding, we always keep the fabric underneath here. It gives it stability. It looks really nice. You would never just sew a 1/2 inch on the edge and flip it around. So you might think that you just need, it's 3 times the width of the fabric. So that's why it takes so much fabric for the fork.
Is it when you sew it in
Yeah.
the width of your banding, then flip it around and make it the sideways?
So again, we still use double-sided tape.
You do.
Oh, you did?
We do everything. So when somebody's telling me they have sew-in, of course I'm gonna do the customer service thing, but I know what our products are. I know what we put out. So you can tell me all day long, it wasn't your installer. I'm going to do the customer service thing, but I know how we apply our tapes.
So wait, how would you apply that banding?
So on this one, I would measure in what my
2 inches.
banding size is. So this is 3 inches. I would measure in, I put my tape on just kind of right next to my stitch line. And then I would place the fabric and then stitch my 1/2 inch seam allowance, flip it over and wrap it twice. And then you'll see it's over with the allowances we do, it's over just enough that it's not catching this. Right, so this is always just a little bit wider on banding than the front 2 inches that you're.
So this has inside here is the face fabric
Yes,
and the bandings and then the banding. Yes.
yeah, because if you sew it right to the edge at a 1/2 inch, you're gonna have take up
Oh, it gets slumped?
Yeah, and then you can have see-through.
Yeah, right.
You don't want that lead edge to see sunlight come through it.
And then you don't want to have to see either.
Right.
And one more time though, so you tape it, then stitch it,
Always,
so it keeps it in place and there's less take-up.
yes,
Okay.
always. I just want to make sure I don't forget anything else. Oh, that sample there. I did a memory stitch on the back. Can I just see that for a second?
We need to see that.
Okay, so. Memory stitch, when you're working with fabrics like the one that I showed you there and some of the ones that I'm gonna get to with the bottom hem, right? Fabric is fabric, right? It's gonna do what it wants to do. So you have to think about these things when designing. There's a sample that I liked over there that I thought was great for a hemline. But I know if I made a full panel like this, I would have to put a memory stitch on it. And for those people who don't know what a memory stitch is, that's what it is. So it's just a stitch from the lead edge and the return from space to space. And this is an extra strong thread that we use. I get it from Adaptive Textiles if anybody wants to know. It's the Turco thread. It has multiple uses.
It really does.
So
it's not like a upholstery thread, it's different.
no, I think you
No.
really just want it to disappear. I don't like the bead thing with the little pins. People have animals and children.
They're a nightmare anyway.
Yeah.
They come out so quick.
That's
So,
very
I
old school.
still, there's these three together.
Oh, I
So
just
Is this,
pulled it. You know what happened?
so it's loose, you can pull it and adjust it?
You're not supposed to, so that's what
I was gonna say, cause I always make it.
Yeah, I
stationary,
think
like
what
5
happens,
inches apart
we go
or
through and we
whatever.
tie off each one, so it looks like maybe I missed one spot and it got moved over.
So are you
That's
doing,
okay.
when you're doing the memory stitching, are you doing a continuous memory or are you doing, like I've seen them done different ways where you stitch and lock it off and then you go to the next one, you stitch and lock it off.
You can
I've
just
seen
do
it
it
where
in
it's-
one,
I was gonna,
you can do
yeah,
it one continuous and go back twice. So on
Okay.
that one, you go back a second time and you do your locking thread.
Okay.
Yeah, so I missed one. I did make this panel really quick the last,
Just slid last night.
huh?
It's just slid, it's good.
Oh, okay.
Jen, do you have to, like, will you make that call on one if it
Yeah.
does that, or do I say, this might happen, do a memory stitch?
Right, we're trying to educate, right? We're trying to educate by doing these events to let people know that some things require memory stitch. It is part of design that you have to, realize that. And it's like-
Especially if it's like a horizontal woven fabric, like even some solids have like a horizontal weave, then they just,
Right.
I've learned that.
If I stopped production for everything that I thought needed to be on that drapery, like when I started, I felt all drapery should be black outlined and interlined. Well, I learned quickly that some are just black outlined with no interline. Whoa, who would do that? But it actually looks nice and it's, it has its purpose. Everything has its purpose and we all have a client with a budget and what they want. So there's many ways to design. Now I brought this because I thought it was fun. This has no buckram in it. And I'm calling this our kick lead drapery because the lead edge is a lot. So
That's huge.
Is she with the lace?
this one I brought because you can bring rules, right? This, you have a fabric, you have a trim, you have the same fabric here. You have a silk flat flange, and then you have another fabric.
Wow.
So see how that, we do this all the time for one of our clients, and I just thought it was fun to share with you because you might not have seen something like that before. They really go pretty far back with their fly flange, but I thought that this was more streamlined for the everyday homeowner if you were going to add something like that. But this one, we would press we would start with this trim right here, right? And then I have 4 inches in there. And then the rest of it goes this way. Then I would apply this trim and then we would sew this contrast here. And then we would sew it this way. To go all the way. This
So it's
is
the
fun.
same principle, that band is wrapped all the way around
Yeah,
the tan
same,
fabric.
right. Exactly, but then the lining gets sewn this way. So you don't have any one stitching going through anything here. But boy, I keep a sample to remember how to make
I
this
was
one.
gonna say, the second that went out the door, I'd be like.
I feel like though we need like samples like that to show clients sometimes.
Yeah,
I'll start
yeah,
with
that's what it
samples,
sounded
order them from them.
like. Order.
Thumbs out.
Order. Okay. I'm just gonna move these a little closer.
Yes,
Yeah. Can you hit that?
Telling this design, this was fun. I honestly, I loved it, everybody.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Isn't that the cutest little tassel?
Yep. And I love it with satin too. Yep. And it
Yeah,
just is like
cafe curtains, that's exactly what I thought of. with
Well,
this.
and because to your point, Jen, how many rooms do we have furniture in front of the bottom of
Yeah.
the drapery panel? So you don't really get to use that as a design piece, but a cafe rod is perfect for that.
Yeah. And so what I wanted
So
you to
pretty.
be, confident. So all this is so that you have confidence in when you go out and sell, to give you ideas so that, it doesn't feel like, that, I don't think I even got to that slide. I've rehearsed it so many times. So here you'll see, we do mitered corners on this one. You can have it just go
nice.
straight across, but this is a little mitered corner. I was wondering if this would fold up in a Roman shape. But I thought it would be cool in a relaxed Roman shape.
Especially on the bottom.
Yes.
I love it
See,
on
now
the
that's
bottom.
fine.
A horizontal leaf, but it looks like it's holding the pieces.
Yeah, it does.
Well,
Yes.
you may have had it folded.
Right, so this one is, I have a different one, I think, with the horizontal.
Okay.
But you definitely have to be careful of the, chantons and the, oh my gosh, what is that? That Bengaloo. Yeah. A lot of work, careful of that, when you have them horizontal.
So
Yeah, cafes, and so, we actually created, when doing cafes, you'll wanna get a smaller hem and a smaller crinoline. So if you're doing cafes, I had somebody order a cafe curtain and it went through with a 4-inch top and a 4-inch hem. They were new, so, that's how we all learn, right? So since silk is back. So this is, isn't that cute, Diana? You mentioned that trim, so this is the bottom hem. I love this trim too. I thought it was adorable and cute. And this is double-sided tape down both sides. We probably would have used the Jules tape on this because it's thinner to get closer into the sides.
And did you stitch that on or no?
It's stitched,
It is
everything
stitched
is
as well.
stitched. And then for the back, we would follow around to the back.
Beautiful.
Okay,
So no matter what, everything's stitched.
everything's stitched because we have to have the confidence that it's going out.
I had Joel tape trim fall off and put it up. It was still
Really?
attached to our hands. But the beads were so heavy.
Wow.
And I thought I'd hear it for a long time and in my workroom and stuff, and it didn't. So I don't trust Joel tape at all anymore.
Well, you could, if you were going to use it, you could hand tack here and there just to make
That's-
sure,
Yeah. And then to have to go fan stitch with the Joel tape stuck to it.
But it is a good product and we do use it for other things. But it is our policy to follow up with straight stitching. So. Thank you. Oh, I don't want it to end. I want it to go forever. Okay, here's another. This is the Suscala. This is a new trim.
Oh,
Wow.
Is that pretty? So these ones I did smaller panels when I started out. But, this is an upholstery we found. So if you're going to use upholstery at the bottom, maybe you need to add that memory stitch. Or if it's going to be a stationary panel, maybe your installer can just tag it with some tags on site, right? So this is, I just thought, beautiful. So again, we would have used jewel tape to placement and then stitch. And right over the seam, we would sew the seam flat so that you don't have that big hump in there. This one is down the leaf edge and across the bottom. That's that favorite tape level. Again, mitered corners, so this could easily be on a bedspread, on a shade. And so you can see here, I mean, the sheet stitching. I wouldn't sit there and hand sew this. I would just never get paid enough to do that.
I mean, really, you're using the dull tape instead of pins. It's holding it in place so that you can easily stitch it. That's how it is.
Exactly. So just, build that into your price. This again is upholstery weight fabric. So you can use upholstery weight fabric.
Yeah,
You
that's
just have to know that you can see there, you're gonna have flares. Just picture this as a whole panel, right? You're gonna need to tag it, you're gonna need to put a memory stitch. Just wanna make sure I didn't forget. I got pretty fabrics. Okay. And then that same fabric, I took a stout trim and I pleated it myself. Oh, look at that. With this nifty little tool right here. All right, if you don't have one of those, I believe I got it from Adaptive Textiles, sells that. Janelle sold me that many years ago. But again, all right, so this is one of those things where Jen had a great idea, this was gonna be a good design, and then I didn't think it through, right? I put piping that's horizontal across the bottom. This is wonderful for a shade. For drapery, it would have to be a stationary panel that I could tag or put a memory stitch on, because this tape was flat and it's pleated now. And it didn't take me that long. I didn't sit at the sewing machine and stitch it. Went to the ironing board and I pressed it in place, and then went to the sewing machine and stitched it right to my piping. And so I actually used double-sided adhesive under here, and then back here, and then to go around the back, I removed the filler from the piping so that it's flat, and just wrapped it around the sides. Yeah, that's curve, or bottom of the flat shade. I thought that was pretty. Oh yeah, the edge this way. That would be, fabulous as well. You could ruffle it up if you wanted to. I have a couple little samples of that. So this one's box pleated. This is a small little sample. This is a Washington segment. And then this one is just what it looks like. Next is ruffles. So imagine this is a cafe curtain.
That's adorable.
That is really cute.
Isn't that adorable?
That's a silk.
So this is silk. So I envision this being a cafe curtain. So one of the rules I broke here is not doing a double 4-inch hem, and I just did a small hem instead. So I don't think I was wanting a double. Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't want a double. But this is what that looked like and how it was applied. You could, if you wanted it to stand out, you could put a little netting or tulle in there, and it would just, ruffle it as you went, and it would do that little. So this was like making a gown. It was fun. So this is lined and interlined. And I chose to just do like blend lining instead of black house. It's a little cafe curtain. The last one, and then you guys can ask me as many more questions, but I put at the end that there's questions, but I knew we were done with it. We'll get that out of the way as we went.
Oh, that's.
So this is that beautiful trim that everybody loves.
That is gorgeous.
Have you seen that trim?
I've seen
Oh my gosh, this is just
so
it's stunning.
Did you have, is that 3 trims? The
That's
fabric,
fabric.
there's 2 fabrics?
Yeah, so it's 2 fabrics. Originally, I was going to put this green color down here, but that green trim gets buried. So if we use 2, if you did one, you know, you could just do one, but once you do one, it just right? So, but I just love this trim. This trim is really meant to go horizontal.
Yeah.
If you did it vertical, you kind of lose it. So I don't know that this would go down a shade and then across the bottom.
Right.
You would just choose it to go across the bottom. And this, I believe, is the managed fabric.
It is, yep.
It is, right?
Oh, which is in that book, that, what's the name?
That's the name of the fabric.
It's in the book with Ticonderoga.
Yeah.
Or the one that just got transferred.
So with this
Solid.
ones, I'm debating because managed has a lot of nice drape to it, right? So it, and just from being folded up, it's kind of held its shape. So I don't know that I would need a memory stitch on that. I think it's nice that it opens up and you can see the design.
Do you ever just do a memory stitch for the pleat edges? Just to the first pleat or to the first fold?
You can, but
Just so that sometimes like this would flare, I would assume,
Yeah,
the
but-
lead edge.
yeah.
But like the rest is holding, but would you just have it so that,
Well, I'm holding it out. Like if this was returned, it would return to the wall. If one side was a lead edge and one was a return,
right,
it does return out. So here, I don't know that just putting one there like that
yeah,
would help it because it'll just move over and pull the next one. So the memory stitch, it has to go all the way across so that they support each other.
got it.
One stitch to the next. Yeah. I think you could, if you didn't want flare, like on site, maybe you would just do a little, if you didn't want to do a memory stitch, you might be able to tag it somehow, you know, if you want it to stick out like that. But you could have it where it just, the lead edge just goes back
Yeah,
and this just sticks forward.
right,
To do that. Because that's what the return would do anyway.
right.
Anyway, so, do we have any other questions? Do we have any other questions?
On that one, you said the arm is going all the way under it.
Yeah, so they're just, seam allowance plus whatever depth I have on that, trim. Yeah, and so they are attached with the, double-sided tape and then stitched down. So you can see where on that one, it got a little thick here, so you can see the stitch.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's thicker, you have 3 layers, 4 layers of fabric roll.
Do you find that, like, I see you wrapping them around to the back side to where it's,
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that. Because do you remember in the 90s when vests were in and now they're back?
They're back.
Right? Vests are back. And you would buy a dress and it'd have a vest on the front and then nothing on the back. That is cheap, right? You don't want that. So the only way we don't wrap it around is if we don't have enough trim.
okay. But do you
Otherwise,
find that you have, I find sometimes some of the trims have so much extra bulk.
that would be another reason we wouldn't. If it was bulky, we wouldn't wrap it around.
So
Exactly.
do you take some of the weight out? Will you take some of the weight out of the fabric in the corner?
We might just stop right at the edge and not wrap it around the back if it's that thick,
Okay.
okay? We never cut out the lead edge at all.
No, I'm not even
Yeah.
saying the lead edge, I'm talking about the hem. when
Yeah,
you're
we don't
turning.
cut out the hem.
No,
You know, because if it has to come back and I need to join another
okay,
piece on there, it would, yeah, I wouldn't be able to. I'd have to go in further.
okay.
And trust me, that happens where, you know, you order a drape, you thought one panel was gonna look nice and oh, you have a triple window there and you put it up and you realize you didn't think about proportion and scale, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes we're just so busy with that. We don't think about all of that all the time. So, you know, we do have people who send back drapery to add a width to it or a half width. So we have to think about that when we're fabricating if it comes back. Plus two, we don't want to end up on Facebook somewhere where somebody took apart our wills.
Yeah,
Did you believe that? So, I've seen that, trust me. I've seen people do that and they forget. I know when I started in this industry, somebody gave me a drape to retrofit for their new house. And I opened it up and the hems were pieced and the top was pieced. And I'm like, who would make something like this? And then I made my first mistake with yardage, right? And then I realized, Who's that? So I was saying to somebody earlier today, whenever you ask that question, is why would somebody do that? You'll find out.
Be careful what you ask.
So, I think everybody has been wonderful. And thank you so much for, you know. We'll keep these at Marilandis, and my hope today was that whatever I shared would help you in your fabrication, in your design, so that you can sell confidently, especially through the Scout program, because it is an amazing program. I see a lot of beautiful things come through, and I was excited to, you know, come, you know, yeah, where I can. So thank you. Anyway, any other questions or?
No,
So are you gonna show us at another date how to make the one, you know,
Anytime. Invite me over for dinner. No. I'm still trying to lose weight. So.
We'll have that.
So I will turn it back over to Bob.
Jen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
John and I were back there, we learned a lot, and we definitely want to shoot some of these panels.
Oh,
some
definitely,
draperies.
for sure.
They would make for great photos for us.
Yes.
Yeah. Promoting the trim, so thank you. Showed some methods that John and I, I'm sure many others have never even thought of or considered. So thanks.